Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich with your Christo-Pagan Sunday. Couple things before I get into today's video. I have already recorded this one time. While editing, there were so many cuts and jumps, edits and whatnot, that my editing software kind of freaked out and lost all of the progress I had made. I was about all the way done, clicked to confirm, and everything wiped out. So I'm gonna try to do this just about in one take. It's not very long. I thought it would be longer. However, I do have a script that I am reading from, so I am reading from my written notes, my typed notes. So yes, let's go ahead and get on into it. As per usual, I will be reading from the Orthodox Study Bible for the verse and the wording of the verses and whatnot. Let's get this out of the way because that was my typed script that I was actually holding. But I'm just going to, read from the screen here. And, that's going to be that. Okay. Before I go any further, if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there. Hit that bell notification so you get notified whenever new videos come up. And hit that like or dislike button. Doesn't matter. It all appeases the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. And be sure to leave a comment of anything that you agree or disagree. Anything that you have to give or take away from this subject. It would always be much appreciated. I do read them, I don't always reply, and I do need to get better at replying to them as well. There's probably about 45 at least comments that I need to sit down and reply to because they deserve a reply, and I'm realizing I have a piece of fuzz right there. There we go. Okay. So today's study is Matthew chapter 5, verse 7 through verse 10. And it reads, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Okay. First things first, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. These are the people who, instead of doling out punishment when they surely can, they instead give forgiveness, even without this blessing being given. This is what is called plainly being a good human being, giving a little mercy to people when they surely don't deserve it. It means that you are not letting them live rent-free in your life or in your head. Rather than cutting the cord that binds you to them, you transform the negative energy that is given to you. Excuse me. My filing cabinet drawer just opened. Just because I had it slightly open and it just kept on going slowly open, and it looked really weird from over here. It looked like somebody else was opening it. Anyway, let me try that again. Rather than cutting the cord that binds you to them, you transform the negative energy that is given to you into a loving energy imparted upon these individuals. Sure, you have the right to give out pain and punishment. However, rather than letting that guilt sit with you, once the punishment is done, you are able to sleep comfortably, that you are doing the humane thing by giving someone another chance, as you have in your life, or you will be given in your life. So, yeah, this is basically being a good human being. This should not be confused with being a pushover, though. You still need to make sure that you take care of yourself and your own well-being. This is more of a guide on not always needing to give out punishment just because you can. This is about your humanity and maintaining your own sense of self as a peaceful person. I want to discuss the blessing that is being given out for us, being merciful. It is quite literally exactly what we are giving out. we are getting in return mercy. This sounds much like the concept of karma. What you put out comes back to you. There is a greater discussion of karma being a concept that spans multiple lifetimes, but that is a discussion for another time. It also sounds like the concept of the threefold law. The energy that you put out comes back to you times 3. This is the concept that many of us would be most familiar with. Let's go on to the next verse. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. I don't agree with the footnotes entirely, and I'm going to read those footnotes. Pure means unmixed with anything else. The pure in heart are completely devoted to the worship and service of God, and accept no compromises. With the aid of the Holy Spirit, those who achieve purity practice all virtue, have no conscious evil in themselves, and live in temperance. This level of spirituality is attained by few, but all may strive for it. When the soul's only desire is God, and a person's will holds to this desire, then that person will indeed see God everywhere. Okay, my reading on this would be much more akin to the 4th Beatitude. The blessed are those who hunger for and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Okay. This is the purity of those who seek the divine. These are the ones that seek the beauty in all religions, and I have spoken on this in the past. This is not about condoning the acts of every religion. It is about finding the spark of the divine in any religion. This is about finding the facet of religion that shows the beauty of the divine within it. For example, I look at certain religions that can be considered cults, but I see the sincerity of their faith that they worship. That part of their faith is quite beautiful. Can be dangerous at times, yes, but at its core, beautiful. When we look at the blessing for this verse, it can be summed up as this: when you look for the divine, you will find it. When you start to look for the beauty of all religion, of any religion, really looking for the divine in it, the divine will show their presence in that practice. The third verse of the day. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. The world is undoubtedly an unpeaceful place. We live in a world with such horrors that it is unfathomable to think of a human being so capable of such atrocities that it can spiral anyone into horrible depressions. In all that darkness, though, we can be the light of the world by being a peacemaker. But what does this really mean, though? It is quite simply someone who makes peace, whether it is because of our mercy to others or by the way of us being meek, as we discussed last week. We can create a way of transforming the negativity into positivity. As individuals who regularly work with energy work, we are uniquely suited for this. I won't say that we are the only ones that can do this. This is for anyone who can make the negative into a positive. This is the mother who soothes an unruly child. This is a person who stops a fight in high school of two teenagers. This is a friend who sees their other two friends fighting but mediates the situation, keeping the friendship intact. We do this sometimes without knowing that we are doing it. We do this to keep the peace. Our blessing in this verse reads, shall be called sons of God. Being called a son or daughter of God is a big deal, absolutely. However, I would argue that all are sons or daughters of God. We all have the spark of the divine within us, and therefore are offsprings of the divine. This doesn't mean that we should do these acts only because of the blessings. Look at the ripples. If we are the peacemaker for one situation, it starts a ripple effect for the rest of the world. One of those involved in the peacemaking situation starts to make peace. The ripples go on for eternity. Our last verse of the day is, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." This can be a problematic verse. This verse is one that makes many evangelicals to believe that they are always having someone coming after them. This is not entirely true. It can and is true in some countries, absolutely without a doubt. In many countries, though, it is not true and is an inaccurate statement. Due to this verse, many think that big government is trying to suppress their religion or infringe on their rights. This is not true in the majority of all cases. So what can we learn from this verse? I think it speaks more to the case of having an upstanding moral fiber. The reason I say this is due to the word of righteousness. When people are trying to be moral and spreading good, upstanding morals, they are not being persecuted in the traditional sense. They are, however, getting a large amount of blowback for being a stick in the mud. These people are the straight-laced ones. They don't like to do anything or be part of anything that can be misconstrued as immoral. They may not be a lot of fun, but they are an example of how we should all live. Having a moral compass that we can come to and judge at any given time may not be exciting. And you may get a little blowback for it. But in the end, you are the example of how others can live and contribute in society with their fellow humankind. Overall, the Beatitudes we have looked through in the last 2 weeks, I think that many of us qualify for these blessings. We try to make this world a little better day by day, for we are the ones that show mercy, are pure of heart, make peace, and have that righteous moral fiber. Go forth during this week, taking note of when you personify the Beatitudes, when you have the righteousness, when you have the peacemaking capabilities, when you are pure of heart or show mercy, just in these 4 verses. Also, keep in mind whenever you show hunger or thirst for righteousness, whenever you are being meek, whenever you mourn or are poor in spirit. Take note of these whenever you personify these Beatitudes. And until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.